So Dan Camish starts second on the grid, home circuit. Let's have a look at the full grid then as we get ready for 15 laps, race 1 of 3 here at Croft. Tom Ingram starts on pole position for the second time this year from the qualifying session. Dan Camish with him at the front of the grid. The second row is Mikey Doble, another excellent qualifying effort. And Tom Chilton really happy with his effort yesterday as well, ahead of Dan Rowbottom and Dan Lloyd into Q3 for the first time this year, but with this engine problem just hovering over him. Aaron Taylor-Smith, best of the Toyotas, ahead of Senna Proctor, then Charles Rainford and Daryl De Leon, BMW drivers both, ahead of Ash Sutton, who's gone for the hard tyre. So too has Adam Morgan, 12th on the grid. 13th, Dexter Patterson. Chris Smiley is next. He's also on that hard tyre ahead of James Dorlin. Another local driver, Aidan Moffat, is alongside him. They are both on the hard tyre. So is Gordon Shedden next. So is Sam Osborne. He starts 18th ahead of Stephen Jelly, who moves teams. He goes to the Rocket Racing with Unlimited Motorsport squad. Nicholas Hamilton, his teammates alongside. Row 11, newcomer Max Buxton and Nick Halstead rounds out the grid. Jake Hill, of course, having withdrawn due to this ear infection affecting his balance. He's at home, he's watching. I know he'd love to be on the grid. Jake, get well soon. So then, we are good to go. It is round 16 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. Race 1 of 3 at Croft. Tom Ingram lines up on pole position. The lights go out now, and a good getaway is made by Camish. Is it as good as Ingram's? However, the answer is no. He slots in behind. Ingram covers off the inside line. Down towards Clairvaux they go for the first time. It's going to be Ingram who leads the way. Camish slots in second. Doble is third. Up to fourth is Rowbottom, and diving to the inside line. A good start made by Charles Rainford. He's been on his toes, hasn't he? And he's got the BMW up on the inside line. Good getaway by Rainford. Ingram dancing the car through the chicane. Chilton's run out wide, has he? Yes, he skips off the road in the background. There's a BMW in strife. I think that was Rainford too, but it's Ingram leading on that one. Yeah, the car dancing around with not much pressure in the rear tyre. Look, this is where it's quite damp on the braking area here up Proctor, up the inside of Rowbottom. But they all got round turn 1 and turn 2 so far. Nice move by Proctor at his home circuit. The Yorkshireman goes through ahead of the Midlander Dan Rowbottom, so that puts the Hyundai up one place. But Ingram's building a gap already. Camish getting away from Doble, who is under big pressure again. Senna Proctor looking to try to make further progress before the end of the lap as they stream now through the Jim Clark S's for the first time down towards Barcroft. And there, up on the inside line, and Mikey Doble goes down Rowbottom, and Chilton goes past as well. So Doble may have had a moment, and that's what's cost him a couple of places. And look at the lead gap. It has come right down. Dan Camish closing on the leader. The BMWs getting into each other there. Look, because Rainford and De Leon are together. The lead gap coming down. Camish closing on Ingram. Third is Senna Proctor from 8th on the grid. Really good first lap ahead of Rowbottom 4th. Chilton 5th. Doble is 6th. Then it's De Leon. Sutton is up to 8th. Rainford is next across the line. And Taylor-Smith rounding out the top 10. Dan Lloyd's down to 11th. With this engine worry, and it's certainly hampering the pace as he tries to get it to the end of the race. This was off the start from Senna Proctor, remember, starting in 8th place. You see how busy it is ahead. Yeah, he gets a good launch. He goes from the inside and boxes out the 2 cars in front of him, uses Rainford as a lever there on the inside. Now, we're going to hopefully see what happens to Chilton on the chicane, because he ducked round the... Oh, Proctor got a great drive off the corner and forced Rainford and Chilton to go wide. Oh, that could be awkward for Nick Hamilton. And that's Doble off. That's at the chicane. Because of the chicane, yes. Yeah, Mikey Doble has gone around. The reason it could be a worry for Hamilton is that flapping bodywork might be a black and orange flag to get him into the pit lane. Mikey Doble has gone round. Whether he fell or whether he was pushed, we'll come back to. Hamilton has got more damage on the front as well as the back of his car. On board with Doble. Just got wide on the exit of the chicane, dropped that right rear wheel into the wet. You'll see it coming in. Got an oversteer already, actually, before he even got to the outside of the circuit. Fortunately, the car just gently nudged into the tyres, and he should be able to continue. Just to tweak it a little bit to the rear at the start of the race, but they'll all be fully dry set up now. This is for 8th. It's Charles Rainford up the inside of Aaron Taylor-Smith. Lovely move coming down through Barcroft. You've got to be brave to do it there, and you've also got to get up pretty early in the morning to put a move over Aaron Taylor-Smith, and that was Charles Rainford. Really incisive, going well. We used to talk about Croft as a BMW circuit, and this is why. Yeah, very much so. I'm not sure. That looked very much like a boost pass to me, because the extra speed he was carrying was huge, wasn't it? Battle on here. Look, Adam Morgan versus Dan Lloyd. Hard tyre Morgan, soft tyre Lloyd. Up the inside goes Dan, rebuilding his race, and he's going to go through into the top 10. So good move by Dan Lloyd. Goes through in that quicker shod car, the better, softer tyre. Yeah, the hard tyre is a real struggle. Sutton's still leading that in 7th, which he'll be
reasonably happy with, but he's 1.2 seconds behind Darren de Leon. And the drivers all know what the other cars are on. They have a sheet on the grid that will tell them what the others are on, and the engineers, trying to nip it up the inside there. Shedden tried through that last of the lunges up the inside into Sunny In, but didn't quite get it done and backed out sensibly rather than have contact.
Senna Proctor is being given a driving standards flag for track limit offences, so they're going to start to be careful now, because if they rack up, you're heading in towards penalty territory. Behind this group, 14th is Aidan Moffat there, look, and in the very background, the back going on behind James Dornan, I think, was dropped behind Dexter Patterson.
I just caught out of the corner of my eye a lunge up the inside from Sutton on de Leon at the final hairpin. There it is. De Leon giving plenty of room, and that's moved Sutton up to 6th place.
And of course, he's the best of those on that hard tyre, and that helps for the championship as well. I know we're a long way off the end of the season, but we're at the start of part 2. And people are thinking about the title race even more. So there is the charging Ash Sutton. And, of course, if you think this is quick, he's only going to get quicker, because he's got the hard tyre out of the way as soon as that checkered flag falls.
Yes, he'll be looking forward to races 2 and 3. And, of course, the other thing is he gets more boost.
Yeah, wheel lifting from Chris Smiley as the Northern Irish driver turns his way through. The Scottish driver, Gordon Shedden, looks for a way up the inside. No real gap there, but he's absolutely on the back, maybe in the back of the Hyundai now. The Restart racing car grows in width. Smiley covers off the inside and the outside line. Shedden, though, tries to go around the outside into the complex, the inside line for the next part. Smiley goes wide, Shedden gets up alongside him. Now Smiley has the road come to him, remember, because this puts him on the inside line, and now it's going to be a drag race down towards Clairvaux, and the Hyundai is ahead coming off the corner. Good battle.
Really good battle, really close racing. Shedden might be able to get all the way around the outside. He's trying to go around the outside here, but the Smiley's too experienced to allow that one to happen. Oh, no, they've touched.
Smiley hit the curb, came across the front of Shedden. Smiley off the road. He just clipped the curb, didn't he, going into Clairvaux? It unsettled him and he put him across the front.
You read that perfectly, David. It was that clipping the curb that just moved him across and into the front of Shedden's car. And that turned himself round. That was not Shedden's fault.
And you can see the damage on that right rear corner. Tiny little error, but out of the race seemingly is Chris Smiley, and with the car in the gravel at Clairvaux, could we be looking at a neutralisation?
Well, here we get another look at it. So he's just in front of Shedden here, but Shedden will go to the outside as they approach the corner. He has a small overlap, but he's not really trying to go round the outside. Now watch for this angle. Smiley will clip the curb. That will bounce him across. It rather than bounce him off, it slowed him up, didn't it? It slowed him up, and that's what meant that Shedden went into the back of him.
Here it is from another angle as the cars go to Clairvaux. Smiley just touches the curb. It did slightly move him across the front of Shedden, but either way, sad to say, out of the race.
Start procedure. They can't go when they like. They have to go once they're round the final corner and past the restart line.
And Sutton, is that with a problem? It is. Ash Sutton has slowed right down. Has he got a puncture? He has. The front right has gone down. So Ash Sutton, rather than being helped, is massively hindered. We go racing, and this couldn't be at a worse time because he's got to pit under green flag conditions, not safety car conditions. So Ash Sutton, championship leader pre-race, in the pits with a puncture. That's brilliant news for Tom Ingram. And as the cars come through now, do we need to be looking at the rest of them on a hard tyre to see what they may be doing, or is that just a freak for Sutton?
That is from a curb strike, because it's the right front, it's the left front that takes all the punishment here, but the right front gets caught. When you cut across the inside of the curb, the tyre can get a failure in, so I think that will be from curb cutting on the right-hand side.
And it's going to be Tom Ingram then to take the championship lead, to take the race win, and the Team Virtue Hyundai then now comes out of the hairpin, heading up towards the line. The team gets ready to celebrate. Tom Ingram wins race 1 at Croft. Tom Ingram wins for first race of the day, with Dan Camish second, Senna Proctor third across the line. Then it's Rowbottom, Chilton and De Leon to round out the top 6. And another really impressive drive by Tom Ingram, winning by just over a second. And the grid is formed then for our second 15-lap race of the day. Top 3 on that slower, harder tyre. They've got to use it by regulation. It's Tom Ingram on pole position. Round 17 is go. Good getaway this time around by Camish. Good start by Rowbottom as well. Not a major start by De Leon. And again, Camish tries to go to the inside. That's covered off by Ingram. Camish tries the outside line on the run down to Clervaux. Rowbottom tries the outside against Croft. Camish looks for a way past Ingram. Here comes Chilton at the inside of Rowbottom, going in towards the right of Hawthorn. The Hyundai almost up alongside the Fords. They come through the corner, but Rowbottom just stays ahead.
Yeah, Camish very aggressive on the start, but he couldn't find a way through. Both of them making good starts on the hard tyre. Nice warm conditions allowing them to get good grip initially, but they will get swallowed up. Here comes Rowbottom through on Senna Proctor.
And now Chilton tries to find a way past his teammate as well, but it's Ingram in the lead.
And the other one to watch, of course, is Ash Sutton, starting at the very back after a puncture in race 1. The two BMWs side by side, De Leon on the inside, Rainford on the outside.
And Charles Rainford just about stands his ground. There's a very rapid Toyota of Aaron Taylor-Smith in the mix as well, just getting up past the Hyundai there. So the BMWs are together. Sutton for the top 6, I would offer you here, given the way that we know he can go. But it's Ingram, Camish, and then Rowbottom. First, second, third. Rowbottom, remember, is on that quicker, soft tyre. Here they come into the complex. Now let's see whether or not Camish makes life hard work for him. This is the recovering Mikey Doble. He was another one in strife in the first race, but look, he's already fallen behind Sutton, who is weaving his way through the traffic. Ash Sutton on the outside of Dexter Patterson there, but he gets roughed up a little bit. Leader over the line. It is Ingram up front, Camish, then Rowbottom. Chilton is 4th, Proctor's down to 5th, De Leon is 6th, Rainford is 7th, then it's Morgan, Taylor-Smith and Shedden 10th, and there's a horrible smell in the air as the cars came over the line. Something is burning, whether it's rubber or something more sinister from somebody. We need to keep an eye on whether or not a car drops suddenly down the order, but there's an horrible smell that will not go away. So now Rowbottom is released. He sets off in pursuit of the race-leading Ingram, heading up to the complex. Chilton's trying to get through, and now Camish becomes really useful to try to block him, but up the inside does go Chilton, and this is where the Hyundai gets the job done off the corner. So Camish is 4th. It's Ingram, then Rowbottom, then Chilton, then Camish, the leading 4 as they come over the line. In 5th place, it is Daryl De Leon. Rainford is 6th, then it's Morgan. Taylor-Smith, Proctor is down to 9th and Shedden 10th.
Chilton with the fastest lap on that last lap, even with the overtake. Sutton gaining another place there on Dan Lloyd. He's up behind Charles Rainford, so that puts him up into 12th place already.
There's the replay of Chilton making that move against Dan Camish up the inside, and in fairness, Dan Camish gave just about enough racing room for Tom Chilton. To say Dan knew he was beat is unfair, but he knows that's a car on the faster tyre, so not making life overly difficult. This is what happened to Senna Proctor. He ran wide coming out of Sunny, and that means that the BMWs go by, and also Adam Morgan was past him as well. Right, for the race lead, Ingram versus Rowbottom, and now perhaps Ingram ought to make that car as wide as possible just to help bring Tom Chilton back into the equation, his teammate.
Hard tyre. Everyone else has got the advantageous soft.
So the leaders go by, then Rowbottom to Chilton, 8/10 of a second. Fastest lap, Daryl De Leon, who is in 5th place in the BMW. He could well be one to watch then as you get the replay from onboard Dan Camish's Ford of Chilton going up the inside. Huge gap offered to him by Ingram.
Yeah, he couldn't have gone any wider, could he? Back to the lead. De Leon up the inside of Camish.
And Morgan's going to have a go the other side, isn't he? So this is where you see the cars on that slower, harder tyre really hobbled. So the leader comes through. It is Dan Rowbottom still clear, but Daryl De Leon is having a really, really good push here in the BMW, which looks far more at home at Croft in this race than it has in others. Over the line they go, and the gap's gone up. Rowbottom was 8/10 ahead. He's now 1.2 seconds clear of Chilton. It's Ingram 3rd, and Daryl De Leon in 4th place. Rowbottom now has done the fastest lap of the race. This is Camish's view, and Camish now 6th.
Sam Riches, but nobody ever uses it because it doesn't blooming work. So De Leon through.
Yeah, up into 3rd place, so that puts him now 3rd overall, 3rd of those on that softer tyre. Let's see what he can do about those ahead of him. He's got 3 seconds to make up against Rowbottom. He's got to make up 1.3 to Chilton. In 4th place, it's Ingram. He's got another of the Team Virtue Hyundais behind him, Adam Morgan, who's had, 3 second places, but no race wins yet this season. He would dearly love to score a victory at his other local circuit, and comes out of the chicane on the back of his teammate. This is how we look for the championship right now, with Ingram 20 points to the good from Sutton, but that's just changed because Morgan's up on the inside.
Yeah, and Sutton is still coming through. Plenty of laps left in this race for that yellow and black Napa Racing UK car to come through a few more places. He's not that far behind, is he?
Real old scrum of cars. Sutton on the outside line, so he's got himself past Shedden on this lap, and he's got himself past his teammate, so that's going to put now over the line 4th Morgan, down to 5th is Ingram, Rainford is 6th, Sutton is 7th already, and we've still got half the race to go.
Just such a shame we haven't got Jake Hill out there as well, fighting in front. Oh, up the inside, that was a good move.
That was Rainford on Ingram. It's for position. It's a soft shod car against a hard. And look who's behind them. Closing in inexorably now is Ash Sutton, then in the black and yellow Ford. Race leading Dan Rowbottom goes by, but now the eyes really are on for second and third because Chilton's being caught by Daryl De Leon. That said, the lead gap is 1.6 seconds and it's only 1 second to third. So 2.7 is where De Leon is off the lead. That was Rainford in replay.
Yeah, and in fact, Sutton tried to get through at the following hairpin, and Ingram put some manners on him and put him right up the curb on the inside.
And there you've got Sutton then now charging on in pursuit of Ingram, and he's about to get up the inside and go by. Ingram might make this a bit harder. No, doesn't really, because again it's soft tyre versus hard, and Tom is just trying to get to the end here and take what points he can. This is the battle going on between Max Buxton and Stephen Jelly a little bit further back as the Toyotas versus Cupra battle continues. Max Buxton up the inside. That was a good hard touring car move, wasn't it? Got the line.
Get stuck in.
Ash is lining up to make that move on the way down towards Clairvaux. Charles Rainford, remember, a winner at Brands Hatch. Ash Sutton 4 times a winner this year, tries the outside line. Wide in, tight out, waiting for the road to open up. There is the Ford up the inside. Very nicely done.
Oh, the precision of that move to cut back across the rear bumper of Rainford and literally miss it by inches. Incredible precision.
We've had Aaron Taylor-Smith off the road at the complex. It looks like he's got a puncture. The car's heading for the pit lane. We're looking at Ash Sutton then now. That's Taylor-Smith, but it's the left front that, to my eye, has gone down. He's about to go past our window. So Tim and I look left, and yeah, I think it is a flat.
Yeah, and there's actually evidence coming into the complex of 2 skid marks going into across the grass and across the tarmac. So
right.
He locked up and then had to rejoin from the escape road.
That's Smiley on the inside of Osborne. Contact made.
Yeah, a bit of a rough one that. Mikey Doble right behind, had a grandstand view of that one, but hats off to Rowbottom. He's driven a really fine race. Took his time to get through cleanly to the front and then used his pace to stay a cosy 1.9 seconds. Gap fluctuated in front of Chilton.
It's for Dan Rowbottom. Last corner, turns his way through the hairpin. The checkered flag is at the ready, and honours in round 17 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship go to Dan Rowbottom. It's a Robo win at Croft. Second place for Tom Chilton. Third to Daryl De Leon, and then Adam Morgan is going to be fourth. And look at this for fifth. Sutton and Rainford absolutely nose to tail as they come across the line. And Ash Sutton fifth from 20th on the grid. Charles Rainford 6th, then it's Gordon Shedden. Tom Ingram 8th. They're still battling in this Lloyd and Dorlin squabble. Look, they're going to find, one of them is going to find themselves in the points at the expense of the penalised Proctor. Dexter Patterson has gone through to win the independent battle, and Lloyd was ahead of Dorlin, and that means that Dan Lloyd gets the final championship point with the penalty applied to Proctor. Aidan Moffat starts on pole position with Tom Ingram starting second. Third, it is Gordon Shedden, and then Charles Rainford on the hard tyre now is going to start fourth. It's Ash Sutton fifth, a possible race winner, and Adam Morgan is sixth, ahead of Daryl De Leon. He's also on that hard tyre, and Tom Chilton is next. He's on the hard as well. Dan Rowbottom next, again on the hard tyre and on the soft. Dan Camish one to watch, ahead of Dexter Patterson, independent winner last time out, and on the hard tyre. Sam Osborne next, ahead of Chris Smiley, and then Mikey Doble. He's another of the drivers on the hard tyre for this last race of the day. Then you get James Dorlin and Stephen Jelly next up, with Max Buxton and Senna Proctor behind. And then the cars of Nick Halstead and Aaron Taylor-Smith come next. Aaron one to watch, a long way back on the grid rounded out by Nicholas Hamilton then. Aidan Moffat's BMW on pole position. Tom Ingram with him at the front. Then you've got Gordon Shedden and Charles Rainford. Watch Ash Sutton from fifth, as well as the lights blink out now and we go racing. Should be a good start by Moffat. It is. It's a good getaway by Rainford on that hard tyre as the cars run down towards Clairvaux for the first time. Aidan Moffat has the advantage. Look at Ash Sutton on the outside line already making progress. Moffat and Ingram go toe-to-toe. Ingram right round the outside. There's contact. He's sideways. Can he hang on to a big slide? Yes, he can. Through on the inside line goes Moffat. Rainford up to second. And the save of the day is Tom Ingram. He's down to third. But that could have been a whole lot worse.
Wow, how he didn't get turned around. I mean, he was forcing the issue round the outside. That's dangerous. Moffat didn't want to give way, but if he hadn't been in a front-wheel drive car and able to bury the throttle, he certainly would have been turned around.
Sutton's made good progress. De Leon runs out wide. So Tom Ingram is still there in third place, but he's about to go second. Look at the inside of Rainford, and he clatters his way up alongside. He gets hung out to dry on the outside coming out of the gym car. Gets his down to Croft. Here comes Sutton up the inside. He's in the back of Rainford. Charles Rainford on that harder tyre. He's hanging on to second place as Moffat escapes up the road. Sutton clears Ingram, then he's done it. He's gone by. And now he makes a move against Rainford on the run up to the complex. Rainford defends from Ingram. That opens the door for Sutton. And Ash Sutton goes round the outside. Here comes Shedden on the outside of Ingram. What a first lap. Sutton elbows up, goes second. Now Rainford spirited defence, but it's going to be Moffat leading at the end of lap 1 with Sutton second, and Ingram is still fighting. Look, he's up the inside of Rainford. Shedden's on the outside, but what a lap by Sutton.
What a terrific lap by Sutton, and what an absolute door-banging first lap of touring car action that was. Ingram must think, what on earth is going on here? He's been roughed up something rotten, hasn't he?
Absolutely, but after all of that, he is in third place, so it could have been a whole lot worse for him, and he's still in the mix. Now, Charles Rainford fourth is on that hard tyre, remember, so his pace won't be as good as those around him. Gordon Shedden's on his tail, Adam Morgan gets out of the draft to have a go. Then you've got Dan Robotham, he's on the hard tyre as well. Look, in the next to the Napa Fords, and behind him as they drop down towards Tower is Dan Camish. So Rainford now, cork in bottle. The gap between Moffat and Sutton at the end of lap 1, 1.7 seconds. And have a look at Chris Smiley, who's arrived on the scene. He now, upholding Restart Racing's honour, is on the back of the Napa Racing UK Ford of Robotham. He's almost alongside the Ford of Robotham, and off the road goes Camish. Is that way wide? Dan tries to hang on to it. He's back across the road, and bang, there's big contact. De Leon's involved, Smiley's involved, Rainford's off, Osborne's off. Camish's car is in the middle of the road, and we're going to end up with a safety car. De Leon is out, Smiley is out, and Camish, I'm afraid to say, is in the middle of the racetrack. We're going to end up with the race being neutralised. There's debris on the road, and we've got 3 parked cars. There are 2 of them.
Well, Camish got forced onto the grass coming into the left hand of the complex, and on the grass you can't slow the car down. He just speared straight back into the pack.
Yeah, and there is Dan Camish's battered car, and as he came across the road, he hit De Leon. On the outside of him was Chris Smiley. The safety car has been deployed. So that was almost 2 laps of door-banging action, but I'm afraid the second lap has ended badly for 3 of the front runners, because De Leon, Smiley and Camish were all running well. I'd like to have another look at how Dan ended up on the grass, though.
Yeah, I think he just got a little nudge as they were turning into the complex. That's the end of the accident. It all starts at the way into the complex. This is another shot where he's coming back across the grass. It's earlier than that we need to see when they come into the left-hander.
So there is Dan Camish's car, brakes with a little bit of flame.
A little bit of a
tickling.
brake fire from the grass, probably. Hopefully that won't develop into anything else.
Daryl De Leon there is getting out of the car. He was the one harpooned by Dan Camish, and he's the one with the attention at the minute.
On board with Camish, he gets a touch there, and literally he has to bury the throttle to save the slide, and then he comes back across the road.
Some very lucky drivers did squeeze through, and some very unlucky drivers were the innocent victims. Daryl De Leon took a big whack. He's out of the car, he's okay. Dan Camish is okay. Chris Smiley has walked away as well. They'll all go with the Toka medical team for a quick check over. That's part of the course in any incident, large or small, but then you've got to get those 3 cars out of the way, and there's quite a bit of debris to clear off the racetrack as well.
Yeah, it's going to take a little while. That was the little touch just from Rainford. I mean, and you see, Dan actually, in order not to spin the car, he accelerates just like Ingram did at the first corner, just to straighten the car up. But then he can't slow it down enough to rejoin safely on the track. But he
Aidan Moffat accelerates now up towards the go board, and then he can floor the throttle, which he does now. He gets away, and the cars run down towards Clairvaux. This is where Sutton thinks about making a move for the lead, but also having to defend from Ingram. Look, as they dive down towards that first corner, the first right-hander, Aidan Moffat leads, and he's got away by 3 lengths as Sutton versus Ingram for second place rages on.
There's a bit of angst in this meeting already. Oh, look, Ingram right up the inside of Sutton, and Sutton has to take through the chicane. He'll say he was forced out wide, but the Hyundai is very quick on the straight,
and Ingram's got the inside line going to tower, and Sutton stands on the brakes, the rear of the car almost lifting there, but Ingram's got the inside line and will go through. Tom Ingram has done it, so he's up to second spot. Sutton's not going to like that, he will fight back.
He'll definitely fight back if he can, especially when as the road is not clear for Ingram to scarp away, because he's going to catch up with Moffat, and that will give Sutton a chance to nibble away somewhere.
3 for the lead, down towards Sunny. Aidan Moffat in the BMW, Tom Ingram in the Hyundai, Ash Sutton in the Ford Focus, and actually Gordon Shedden's right there with them as well in 4th place in the Toyota. So Aidan Moffat's got a really tough ask here in order to repel all of this challenge for another 11 laps, or just under. He comes up to the complex, and does Ingram make a move here? The answer no, but he's got Sutton right up behind him. Now Ingram thinks about a move heading up to the hairpin, but Sutton wants to make the move on Ingram, tries to get the switch back, but there's contact between Sutton and Shedden. Shedden's turned round, Sutton leads at the end of the lap. What a move!
Wow.
He goes from 3rd to 1st, and there was contact with Gordon Shedden, and Ash Sutton leads at the end of the lap, and that was absolutely brilliant.
That was fantastic, because Moffat defended. Ingram got boxed out to the outside. Sutton went to the inside, but nearly got turned around, but it all worked out perfectly. This is Ash Sutton's chance, and turned around in the background is Charles Rainford.
And a driving standards flag for Ash Sutton as well, so Rainford on the hard tyre. Tough race, not getting any easier. Moffat still fending off Tom Ingram, and look now, the queue is building behind Ingram. It's Proctor next up as Ingram again tries to get up the inside. Behind Proctor is Shedden, he's back ahead of Morgan. Then you've got Chilton, and you can see that car coming through as that Stephen Jelly in the gravel at Clairvaux corner. He's just about got the momentum to dig his way out the other side.
This was how it all panned out. Watch Sutton. Dives up the inside there, gets tagged by Shedden, because Shedden doesn't expect him to come, and somehow it just works out that he comes out in front.
But does he have a charmed life or what? I mean, there's contact, and it's Shedden that came off worse. That was Rainford getting turned around, and he drops to the back of the pack. So Ash Sutton still leads the way, and he's trying to build that gap over Aidan Moffat, and in 7th is Chilton, and he's the leading car on the hard tyre, and there is Ingram up the inside. He's going to go through surely now for 2nd place. No, Moffat able to fend him off. Good defence.
Well, the rear-wheel drive BMW can actually use its traction very well through that acceleration zone on a corner. Surely Proctor's not going to have a go here, is he? Surely he's looking down the inside. He wants a piece of this. Come on, Senna. Go for it, my lad. You're in there to look after yourself. He's going to be side by side through the chicane. He's done it. Fantastic. Local boy comes good, or what?
And that helps Tom Ingram not one jot in the championship, because that takes more points away from him against Ash Sutton. So Senna Proctor going well, gains the place. That was not in the Ingram game plan at all. So Tom Ingram in 4th place now. Senna Proctor comes up to have a go at Aidan Moffat. Looking for a podium here. He's on the back of Moffat, and they run to the complex. Once again, Moffat with a big dive up the inside, makes contact with Moffat, who's all crossed up. He's on the grass, and that was down to Proctor. That was contact, and Moffat gets back towards the circuit, hemorrhaging places, and now Tom Ingram is under attack from Shedden. Look, as he also tries to attack Senna Proctor, but that one was on Senna.
Yeah, that was a little bit too late. It's a dive, but he doesn't get alongside. Look, he taps the rear quarter of Moffat, so that was a bit of a mistake there, Senna. It's a shame to do that after a fine drive, and it's a shame for Moffat, because he had driven a resolute defence. I have to say, Ash Sutton has not got that far up the road, considering how much defence Moffat has been putting up.
Right, so there you've got Proctor versus Ingram, who's going to have a go on the inside, heading into the hairpin. Door opens for him. Ingram up to 2nd place. Nicely done. So Tom Ingram, who was way back in 4th, relatively way back, now up into 2nd place, and the fight back continues. I don't suspect he's going to get close enough to attack Sutton, but he's thinking points now. Don't forget, he's got the fastest lap points as well at the moment as he goes through Clairvaux. Down to 3rd is Proctor, 4th Shedden, Morgan 5th, Moffat 6th.
This is the move. I feel like Ingram's got a bit more front tyre under him, and he just launched it up the inside. This time Proctor, probably feeling a little bit guilty after the Moffat incident, decides not to make any more of it as Nicholas Hamilton retires again into the pit lane, or comes in. What a disastrous weekend it's been for him.
This will tell us, I think, how Charles Rainford got in touch with the Cones hotline. He was squabbling, as you can see, with Nick Halstead, who flicks the cone, and you could not have done that in a movie.
I'll tell you what, Luke Littler would have been happy with that one, wouldn't he?
What a shot, what a throw.
Mind you, does that constitute a ram air system now? Is that, I'm not sure if that's within Totals' route.
It is going to be win number 6 at Croft and win number 5 of this season for Ash Sutton, who accelerates towards the checkered flag and a 47th career win. Sutton wins race 3 at Croft. Tom Ingram is second, and third across the line is Senna Proctor. Then it's Gordon Shedden ahead of Adam Morgan, and Aidan Moffat is going to round out the top 6 after a tough race. Mikey Doble's had a tough day as well, and he's still fighting as he gets up the inside and into the side of Dexter Patterson. Clatters his way up the inside. Is he going to force the issue and stay ahead or give the place back? He's going to be ahead as they cross the line, and that's another one that'll get looked at possibly at the end of the day. But hey, it's race 3, and it's kind of what you expect.
That was a touring car race.
Was it ever?